Hello, third grade scientists, and welcome to Science Unit 3, Habitats and Change, Solving a Fossil Mystery. Today, we are going to review some of the vocabulary words to help you make sense of the lessons you will work on in science this week. We will review together the academic and content vocabulary for this unit of study. We will study word meanings and look at examples to help you understand the work you will be doing during your science lessons this week. So let's get going. Today we will look at academic and content vocabulary. So let's talk about the difference. Academic, these are the words that you'll find in some of the questions or focuses for your lessons. These can be found in other subject areas as well, so learning these words can help you across all the subjects that you work on in school. The content vocabulary are the words that are specific to understanding the science lesson. In other words, they will be science words. Let's take a look first at the academic vocabulary you will see this week. Your focus question for today is, what do fossils reveal about organisms, habitats, and change? You'll notice that I have the word reveal highlighted in red. This is an academic word we will look at. Your lesson objective is, today you will be able to analyze and interpret data from fossils for evidence that as a habitat changes over time, so do the animals and plants that live in that habitat. The word evidence is also highlighted in red. This is our second academic vocabulary word for the week. Before we move on to look at the meanings of these words and some examples, take a moment to think about whether or not you've ever heard or read or seen these words before. What do you think they mean? And if you've never heard of them, take a guess now and think about whether or not you understand what these words might mean. Reveal. Reveal is a verb or an action word. It means to show or to uncover. Another word that means the same thing is expose. Let's look at an example. For example, many people now, when they're having a baby, will have what's called a gender reveal party. In other words, they will reveal to their families and friends at the party what the gender of their baby will be, whether it's a boy or a girl. They might reveal this by cutting open a cake or popping a balloon. The word reveal means to show or to uncover. Your second academic vocabulary word is evidence. Evidence is a noun. It means something that gives proof or a reason to believe. Another word that means the same thing is facts. An example of evidence could be a fingerprint. When looking for evidence, a fingerprint is a fact that can be connected to a person. In other words, it can be proven. It's not just an opinion or what somebody thinks. Let's take a look at some of the content vocabulary for this week. Some of the important content words for this week's lessons are, these are some of the words that you will learn about during your lessons this week. You have the word fossil, extinct, organism, and habitat. Before we move on to look at these word meanings, other words that mean the same thing, and examples, take a moment, stop and think. Have you ever heard or read any of these words somewhere before? Can you think of examples in your mind? What do you think they mean? A fossil is a noun. It comes from the Latin word that means dug up. A fossil is the remains or trace of a living animal or plant from a long time ago. Fossils are found embedded in earth or rock. These are some examples. So you'll notice that these fossils are embedded or are inside and part of the rock that had to be dug away to reveal them or show what they are. Extinct. Extinct is an adjective or a describing word. Extinct describes a species that no longer exists or is alive on the planet. Other words that mean the same thing are obsolete or deceased. Dinosaurs are an example of creatures that have been extinct for millions of years. Dinosaurs can no longer live on the planet because, for whatever reason, the environment can no longer sustain their life. Therefore, they are described as extinct. Organism. Organism is a noun. An organism is any individual living thing, such as a plant, an animal, or even a germ. Let's take a look at some examples. Here's an example of an organism growing on a tree. Here's an example of an organism that's a germ or a bacteria being looked at underneath a microscope. Habitat. Habitat is also a noun. Habitat is the natural environment of an animal or plant. It is the natural home of the plant or animal. For example, a dolphin must live in the ocean, or a palm tree needs a warm climate to survive. So these are some examples. In other words, I could not have a dolphin as a pet at my home because I don't have an ocean to sustain its life. The habitat is the environment that the animal or the plant needs in order to live. I could not grow a palm tree in my backyard because I don't live in a warm enough climate for a palm tree. But maybe if I lived in Florida or on a tropical island, I could, because that climate could support its life. Now that you're familiar with some of these awesome words for this week, you'll be able to use them and understand them during your learning. And remember, please use this video as a resource over and over again throughout the week to remind you of examples and to look at the meanings. Good luck, third grade scientists, and happy learning.